welcome to Maverrik Live. I am the head of content for Maverrik, Luke 2, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, Dave Faulkner.
Good afternoon, Luke.
How's it going?
Yeah, all good.
So, do you want to give people, the viewers out on all the social medias, a little description of who you are and what you do at Maverrik?
Yep, so I'm Dave Faulkner. I'm 28, now 27, and I've been at Maverrik for potentially 6 years. I've been working with the company. I am the head of graphics here, so I do all graphic design, or I oversee all the graphic design, anything visually that gets put out for our company.
So the look and feel of Maverrik is a...
Yeah, so I want to be the one in control of everything that people see about our brand. I want to make sure that people are seeing the right message from us, we're getting the right feel, and we're attracting the right people.
Yeah, with design, and I'm going to say, I'm not a designer myself, but I'm saying with your designs, you have to have a aura of, your authenticity. You have to make sure that, everyone looks professional and the whole brand is still within everyone's vision and yourself.
Yeah, I think design's one of those things, so it can do so much or so little depending on how you use it. It's one of those silent things that all businesses use, and depending on how you kind of use it, it determines how successful your business can be. Obviously, different messages come from different colors, different images, different statements. It kind of reflects the business as a whole, and it's the thing people see straight away.
Yeah, it's enticing all the emotions and what's connected to it. So you say you've been doing it for 6 years. Obviously, you've done a lot of work with some of the clients as well, some of our own stuff. Is it more freeing doing our stuff than the client stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I like to be in control of what we're doing because you get to really see the results. When you do work for clients, although it's great and you see the client happy, it's hard to then cut ties with the design and kind of forget how the company would then do after that. Do you see what I mean? So a lot of the work I've done in the past, I've tried to follow as to where they go with it to make sure that it's something that has caused a positive message for the company.
Yeah, it's a big split between their vision and your own vision, and it bringing it together and working and collaborating to get what we want to achieve from it.
Yeah, because if you're any designer should want to put their name on their design. They should want to be proud of everything they put out. So if you're putting a design out and you don't like it, then you're doing it wrong. So you're trying to help everyone.
Yeah, you don't want to just get the job done. It's not a point where it's just, they've told me to create a box, so create a box. It's more about, where's the box going to go? Where's the box going to end up? You want to make sure that box is serving its purpose and doing a little extra.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you're going through the design process, someone's given you, or let's say Dean's probably given you this big old brief. We need to reinvent the Maverrik brand.
The magic brief.
The magic brief.
The briefs. Some of the briefs I've had over the years have been, from 1-line briefs to 8-page briefs. And to be honest, sometimes more is better. Don't get me wrong, but those one-line briefs that I've had to work with sometimes just have been ridiculous.
It spirals off, doesn't it? Because we want this, but then it has another meaning to it.
The thing is, no one's obviously only designers are designers in a sense, but the designer has to create not only what the client wants, but you want to make sure the person you're doing the design for is happy with what you're doing. So I might know full well what their industry they're targeting wants to see. But if the person I've sent that design to isn't happy with what I've done, even if it is right, it still doesn't work.
Yeah, it's because it can sometimes be it's a very opinionated sort of field, isn't it? It's all visual arts and design.
Completely subjective design. There's trends to follow. There's a lot of trends. There's a lot of different things, and a lot of there's a lot of things that design has to kind of follow. A lot of rules, and that in a sense rules, but that doesn't necessarily make it right.
Yeah, it's quite a tough thing to navigate a relationship because obviously with the client, it's their look, it's their feel. If they're a business owner or an entrepreneur, it's their baby, it's their child. So you're kind of designing their child for them. Yeah. And it's about how you get everyone happy, but also serving that same purpose. So when someone comes to you with that brand and ideas, if they give you a very blank box to say, I just want you to make something, where do you first go? What's your inspiration when that happens?
So I think over the years, I've drew inspiration from previous projects, working for specific industries. If I work for one I've already worked for, I can kind of use the research I did then, and that kind of helps me. I can kind of bounce projects off each other, especially when they're similar companies. But when I first started, I remember I was really struggling to kind of nail any sort of message at first. It took me a while to get good at it. And I used to basically walk around, and I was taught this in college, to walk around and look at design because it's everywhere, it's all around us. Just go outside for a walk and you'll see it everywhere, and you'll just pick up, if you just draw in everything around you, you kind of draw inspiration from that. It's really weird, like shop signs or nightclub logos or posters on the windows, and you can kind of, I'll just be walking and I'll see something and I'll go, oh, I like that. And then I'll see something else, I like that. And then you could kind of fuse it without even realizing it in your mind. So I think you draw it. Do you know what I mean? Do you draw it from everything without even realizing it?
Yeah, I think you'll get a different style of design from people across the world, don't you? Because obviously they've got their own...
because they're seeing different things.
Their own experiences, what they see all the time. So someone from an old Cornish town walking around is going to have a different style than someone from a sleek London apartment.
But then you say that, but then you think if someone from that old Cornish town is asking you to do design for them, they're appealing to the same audience as the other people in that old Cornish town. So their stuff looks the same for a reason, because they're kind of appealing to the same audience a lot of the time. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you're appealing to an online audience, it's completely different. You kind of have to. That's obviously visually, people walking around will see those posters, see those signs, and you'll know it's a nightclub sign, or you'll know it's a news agent's based on looking at the logo. But when you do it online, obviously you're trying to target the audience without knowing they're going to look at it. You kind of have to make sure that they're seeing what they want to see. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because when they see anything, they immediately think of sort of a brand.
Yeah,
they want to get a recognition. I think everyone wants that logo, or everyone wants that style where they immediately go, that's them. And you need to redefine that a lot of the time, because you can't just coast off the same brand over and over throughout time. Because if you think about people like Coca-Cola and McDonald's, they still have their logos, they still have their colors, but they have changed it over time. So they're still very recognizable, but it is very much their flavor.
Oh yeah, if you look at any big conglomerate brand nowadays, if you look over 30 years, the amount of times they've changed could be like from 3 to 10 times. We kind of don't notice it because it's kind of simple and subtle. Maybe it'll be a slight movement of the logo, or a slight
those are the trends you were talking about.
But yeah, they're adapting to a more modern sort of style, so their lines might get cleaner, or they might take where they had waves before, they might sharpen it, and these are they obviously want to be recognizable still, so they still have those fundamental elements in their logo, but yeah, they're constantly updating to fit with trends and obviously the times.
Yeah, I get that's where the inspiration comes from, is in the times and the turning of the trends, because it's interesting to see where a trend would start. Like someone does something, and then another company or brand will go, oh, I really like the way they've done this, let's put our own style and spin on it.
Yeah.
And then it kind of snowballs into a little bit more.
Well, what's interesting about that is trends recycle just like fashion, or just like anything. Like gradients were a big trend, I think, a couple of years ago. I remember looking into it at one time. And gradients used to be a trend, say, I can't remember exactly, but maybe in the 80s. So gradients have come in as a trend then, and then gone back out and come back in. And I remember when I was a bit younger, I used to wear chinos all the time.
Yeah.
Now I wouldn't be seen in chinos, because to me that's, I don't know, is you subconsciously follow those trends. Do you see what I mean? So
in a couple of years' time, when we're still doing Maverrik Live and you're wearing chinos, I'm going to go, stand up for me, Dan. I want to see your chinos.
Chinos are back.
Play the clip.
Chinos are back.
But in terms of your past experiences and trends, is that what inspires you? But looking at what other people are doing and thinking, okay, this is very good, I can take some from this, and then you're sort of pulling and patching work stuff together. Is that what you say would inspire your designs?
Yeah, I think you have to be clever and say to yourself sometimes, not everything has to be created from nothing. I mean, you can't always create a new idea. You can't always come up with your own thing from the beginning. You kind of being too hard on yourself if that's what you think every time. But you can kind of look at the people who've done it right. You know, if I've seen a logo or seen a design or that's getting a load of uproar, it's being talked about a lot, I start to think, well, what have they done right? Because they're doing something right.
Yeah, you pick it apart.
You kind of have to, then that could be the start of a new trend then. So all it could take is, say, there was this design that Adobe did where it was like a they used a really vibrant gradient with an image in the background, and I really liked it. And I started to see it everywhere. And I was thinking, how can I use something similar to kind of, because it stands out, and I knew it stand out because I spotted it so easily. Yeah. And I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to create something like that with my design at that time. And then obviously that passes and you change into something new. But just following what works for other people can be a good starting point.
Do you have one of those really wild creative processes where it's like I have to sit in a solid room for 24 hours and just...
Well, I was taught in college to do like mind maps and things like that, and write down all my ideas on paper. And sometimes I think the best thing you can do is to just start doing it, trial and error. Like just start putting stuff on a page, start putting stuff together, and then you'll look at it and go, no, don't like it. Most of the time, that's what you will do. You'll go right backspace, delete it, and then you put something else on there, and you'll play with that, and eventually you'll just go, oh, yeah, that's staying. And that's my kind of process now. Sometimes it takes me a bit too long. Sometimes I hit it on the head straight away. And everyone's obviously going to use their own method. But I think for me, you kind of just have to, I kind of lacked belief for a long time. And it's only sort of in the last couple of years that I really started to think, do you know what, you do know what you're doing? And started kind of agreeing with my own process, if that makes sense.
Yeah, backing up what you've experienced works, and I think it is a lot of the confidence thing as well, to say that, okay, I think this looks good, I've seen it done in other places, I've got the knowledge in the background to tell you that this is going to work. You know, you need to believe in me and what we're designing.
Yeah, I think there's fundamentals. You know, things that are too close to the edge, and if text runs off a page, it doesn't look good, and you can kind of what's visually pleasing to people is something you can gain. I think I did a long time ago. I did a sort of questionnaire, a test, and I just kind of showed people some things and seen what their reception was to it. And it all went back to the same thing, and it was kind of the centered, everything kind of balancing. Balance is a major part of it, of design a lot of the time, especially design that you want to be processed. Like if you want information processed, balance is a great starting point.
Yeah, it's what people who write happy birthday signs don't know.
Yeah,
my favourite bit of comedy is someone doing a happy birthday sign.
That's it.
With their big ass H's and their little P's.
Yeah, I mean, some letters are so hard to balance off each other, aren't they? So they just stick them anywhere. But yeah.
Yeah, because when it comes to obviously with brochures and writing, obviously you have a lot of the letters and the amount of copy you get. You also have to do a lot of condensing and filing and all that sort of stuff. But we can get into that in, let's say, another live session. I just want to say thank you again for coming down.
Appreciate you having me.
If you ever want to come back downstairs into the wonderful world of Maverrik Live, just let me know.
I'll be back.
We're going to get you in.
I'll be back.
If you have any questions considering your design, just let us know. Comment on the social medias. Because we stream everywhere live, I can't just pinpoint people. If you're on YouTube, give us a comment. If you're on Facebook, give us a comment. If you're on LinkedIn, give us a comment. And don't forget to follow us as well. But thank you for coming down, Dave.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful Wednesday afternoon, and we'll see you back on Friday at quarter past 12.